The Astros are back at 500. They've won 7 games in a row. Now they're on the road for 3 series. One to start with the Mets, who are beating the Yankees. Both clubs will be at 500 come Friday when the two clubs meet. So I've got Mike Stanton here, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to go back to the bullpen.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, and I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heat low in the way, you can't hit it. You know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk it back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well put them back to the bullpen, oh yeah.
That is right, and we are back to the bullpen, Mike, after a 7-game win streak, a perfect homestand. We sit here, and 3 weeks ago, if you and I would have been told that this was going to happen and it started with the sweep of the Orioles, we might have had our questions. Not that we don't believe in this team, but with what they had been doing. Sure. So look, you can find me at H-Town Wellhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find the show on X. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe to us. We're almost at 500 subscribers. You can also find us on iHeartRadio. Mike, tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, there's only one place, and that's going to be on X, formerly known as Twitter, and that is going to be at Mike Stanton 29. Now, you look back and you see what this Astros team has done recently, and I think that, you go back to the White Sox series, you go, okay, that was a series. Yeah, they won 2 out of 3, but, was there a missed opportunity there? Should they have won that first game to sweep that? And then you go into the Baltimore Orioles series. Now, you're talking about the Baltimore Orioles, probably the second best team in the American League, and has an offense that is absolutely killing it. And you sweep this series. I mean, I really think that we can look back, and that may be the turning point to this season, that this is when the team truly got their confidence back. They played extremely well in that series, and then they continued it. That is something that they haven't been able to do. That consistency just simply hasn't been there this year. You get the 2 series against the Colorado Rockies, and you take care of business. You get back to 500. Great run. Let's just see if they can keep it going. But the Mets are the hottest team in Major League Baseball, winners of 8 of the last 10.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't get any easier, but I think I was always told growing up, if it's worth something, then it's going to be a little difficult. And I think if any team is up for the task, Mike, it's the Houston Astros. And talk about this from a Major League perspective. How important is it for this club to do this without one of their hottest hitters all season, Kyle Tucker, even in the mix?
Well, we've seen this team do this in the past, where somebody goes down and as fans, we're concerned about it. How are you going to, cover the numbers either for a hitter or for a pitcher? And this team just kind of gels a little bit more, and they just keep on winning. And I think that's what you've seen here is, listen, would this team be better off with Kyle Tucker? Of course they would. I mean, this is an MVP caliber year that's having an MVP caliber player that's having a great year. But it really seems like they haven't missed a beat. That having Kyle out has really just had them solidify things a little bit more. They're playing a better quality of baseball, and that's really what one of the head scratchers over the first couple months of the season was they just weren't playing the caliber of baseball that we're used the Houston Astros see. I mean, it's just one of those things that has happened, but they're doing the little things. They're when there's a guy on third base, they're scoring runs there. The runners in scoring position has gone way up. The pitching staff has been very good. The rotation has been more than solid, led by Ronel Blanco. Bullpen has been outstanding. I mean, it's really a team that seems to be starting to click on all cylinders, and them getting to 500. I mean, how many times I don't think they were ever 13 games under 500, but they were 12 games under 500 several times this year.
Yeah, and it just seemed like, you know what? Hey, you know what, boys? It's been a nice run. We enjoyed the winning, but all good things must come to an end. And you would have thought the sky was falling. I mean, there were people like, let's just do a yard sale like Drayton did. And let's just, 'cause I remember those years
Yeah.
when Hunter Pence left and
Oh, yeah.
Berkman, and oh man, those were some dark days. You want to talk about some ticket deals, though? I remember getting 10 games for $20, Mike. I did that
About
3
that.
times in 2011. I went to a bunch of games. I saw a bunch of losses, but I was not paying. I was paying like $2 a game. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
didn't mind that aspect of it.
Yeah, you're
But
not gonna get that now, but, I think that and we've said this several times, last year, the coined phrase, for the season was the golden era of Astros baseball, and that was 100% true. And, you see how this season started, you go, "Okay, is that era over?" Well, let's not start throwing dirt on top of it quite yet because they have played exceptional baseball, and, they're still not healthy the way we would like them to be healthy.
that's true.
Starting pitchers coming back from Luis Garcia and eventually Lance McCullers Jr. And Kyle Tucker, like I said before, MVP caliber player, MVP season that he's having. I mean, we thought he was going to be out just for a couple days. It's been much longer than that. That bruised shin has not reacted the way they want to. But I'll tell you what, this team has just galvanized and done a great job of playing small ball and doing the little things that were missing to win baseball games.
Exactly. And, manufactured runs is a key part of baseball. Sometimes just getting lucky. Sometimes the ball bouncing over the fence for a ground rule double, or, a guy going for to rob a home run and he drops a ball type of thing. But Spencer Arrighetti comes into this game. And Spencer Arrighetti, I had heard from one of the guys who actually has helped in his training the last couple of years, Kyle Dowdy, a former major league pitcher, said, "Look, Spencer is ready. Like, he has got the tools. He just needs the experience." And he came out, Mike. He had 15 swings and misses.
Mm-hmm.
He had no walks, no hit by pitch, and he threw 7 innings, 10 strikeouts. The first pitcher in the Houston Astros pitching roster, both starting and relief pitching, to get 10 strikeouts in a single game. And I was shocked. But how great is it for this rookie, Spencer Arrighetti, a hometown kid, a Katy kid, to come in and really take the bull by the horns? Because this was an important game. Yeah, it was the Rockies, but the rookies are typically the ones that let it get off the rail a little bit. How big is this start today for him?
It was huge. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And you look at the progression he's made just from when he's been called up. What was the problem in his first several starts? Well, there were many shutout innings, but he was bit by the big inning several times. And now you're seeing him. You've seen the confidence grow. You see, the stuff has been very good. The sweeping slider, the sweeper, whatever you want to call it, was devastating against the Colorado Rockies today. Let's be honest, was the strike zone a little on the liberal side? Sure, but so what? It was going both ways.
Right.
And he kept, listen, if you're calling just off the plate, the pitcher still has to put it there. So you got to give some credit to where credit is due. But he was outstanding. I mean, this was just one of those things. He was in complete control, and we haven't seen him have a start like this. We've seen it in innings or even a few innings at a time, but never over an extended time and a full start. He was on top of his game. I mean, we saw how good Spencer Arrighetti can be in the game today.
100%. And, after his 10th strikeout, the way he walked off the mound, waiting for the ball to be thrown around. I don't know if you noticed this, but he just looked like a major league pitcher because, some guys, it cannot be easy. And you probably remember back to your rookie days. It can't be easy to go out and look like a pro your first season, right? Because you're trying to find yourself, at times you may get overwhelmed by the setting, but he walked off that mound demonstratively, not with arrogance, but I was like, that kid is going to be something.
He was strutting. I mean, that's what he was doing. I mean, he was feeling it. He was in the zone. He
was
knew
owning it.
exactly what was going on, and he was enjoying it. I mean, hopefully we see a lot more of that out of Spencer. And listen, if the other side says he's cocky or whatever, I don't care. As long as he's doing it, because you got to put up the numbers, you got to get the outs in order to do that. But I love the fact that we saw a little because this kid's been great. He's said all the right things, the interviews, he's been very humble. He's always passing the baton.
Right.
The offense did a great job. I had really good defense tonight, the catching core was out, and always, do it, like I said, doing the right thing. But when you're out there and you're shoving and you're on top of the game and that the other side doesn't have any chance, it's a different aura. And, we saw how good he can be. And listen, when you throw like that, you have, you can be John Travolta strutting down the street and staying alive. That's what you deserve that. You deserve that when you shove like he did today.
It's funny that honestly, that's how I felt leaving the gym today. I had a really solid workout. I have been getting back in the gym.
Oh my goodness.
I'm serious. Like, now, I may not have struck out 10 major league batters, but I feel like I defeated the world in that gym. It was just one of those
dominated those 10-pound dumbbells, didn't you? Dominated.
Hey, don't out my weight. Don't out my weights right now, man. There's my mom's watching, actually.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, my mom's watching. No, so in our next segment, I want to talk about, now what do we do at 500? I got a couple of quotes from Chandler Rome's article, from Presley, from Dubon, and just kind of their mindset. But before we do that, I want to talk about Ram shirts. Go to ramshirts.com. There is a QR code. You can get your own Back to the Bullpen t-shirt. Our guy, Mr. Gonzalez, wore his Back to the Bullpen t-shirt. It was in the rotation today, and it's a winner. Every time he's worn it, they've won. So his rotation's working so far. You can get this shirt. You can get a myriad of shirts. I mean, Astros gear, all kinds of stuff. And at Ram Shirts, they can make stuff for you. If you got advertisement for businesses, check them out. And then also, if you need to get that fresh cut, you see me, my beard's looking a little scraggly here on camera. I got to go get trimmed up. I got to go see Ever in the next couple of days. And he is at 1616 South Friendswood Drive, state-of-the-art barbershop. They do you right over there. Back to the Bullpen. Tell them we sent you. You'll get a 10% discount on your next haircut. So, Mike, this segment, let's talk about this 500.
Mm-hmm. Because
getting back to 500 is not something that this club is akin to in the last, since Alex Bregman's been a professional. Getting back to 500 has not been as big of a deal as it has been this year, because this is the antithesis of 2022, where everything went just went perfect, like a ballet, like an orchestra. Just everything went right. This year, anything that can happen has happened. You get a rookie, you call him up, Jake Bloss. Oh, shoulder inflammation. Caratini slides into the bag. Boom, he's out 2 to 3 weeks. It's just like on. The hits keep coming.
Yeah.
Verlander, no word on him. The neck stiffness. The major league mindset, and I'm pretty sure you're going to align yourself with these guys' comments. Where do you go as a team? Okay, you hit 500. Are you done? Do you keep pushing on the gas pedal? Are you relieved? Or what's this mindset that you got to have going forward?
Really, what you're looking at, 500 is something for you and I to talk about. It's not something they're going to really discuss. Is it nice to get back to relevancy? Of course it is, especially when, like we said earlier, how many different days were they 12 games under 500? So this is an achievement, but what does it mean in the big picture? It means nothing. You just keep playing baseball. You just keep trying to do the little things that you've been doing that has put you on this streak, that helped you sweep the second best team in the American League in the Baltimore Orioles, you know. And so that's how you have to look at this. You know, it's been a bumpy road. It's been a roller coaster to get to this point, and chances are it's going to continue to be a roller coaster.
Right.
But as long as you keep going uphill, you know, now that you're 500, to me, and this is just my opinion, this is how I looked at the teams I played on. If we were under 500, I don't care how many games back we were, because that's not the important number. I think it's a little dangerous to kind of look at that and dictate what you're going to do or how you're going to play on the standings. You know, to me, if you're going to be a playoff team, if you want to get to the promised land, which is the postseason, the first thing you got to do is be over 500. You know,
Right.
and the Astros have had, like I said, it was a long road to hoe here for them to get back to this point. And, you know, I said this a couple times in the first couple months when they were struggling so poorly, so badly. And what did the statement was, hopefully they don't burn all their energy just to get back to relevancy. You know, just to get back to 500. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think this team is just now, you're starting to see them hit their stride. They're playing with a different team. That swagger that we talked about with Arrighetti, all these guys are starting to walk that way. They're starting to realize that, yeah, okay, we've had our trials and tribulations, but you know what? Those are behind us. There may be some more in front of us, but we're a good team and we can still win baseball games regardless of what injuries we may have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Yainer Diaz in the last from June 21st till today has, I believe, 7 RBI. From June 9th through the 20th, he had 0.
Yeah.
And he's manufactured runs. I think 3 of those runs are from sacrifice flies. And so Chandler Rome, after the game, talked to the players. Obviously, the subject is getting back to 500. So I'm going to put a graphic. It's going to probably go over both our faces. So
that's not a bad thing. That's okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's what he says. So this is from Ryan Presley. There's no sense of relief. Veteran setup man Ryan Presley said, this team expects to win. It's nice to win a series, get some sweeps, have a good homestand, but it's all for nothing if you go back into your old same ways. This is an opportunity to capitalize on some momentum. And this team knows how to do that. When you start getting content and you start getting comfortable, that's when stuff starts to slide again. And then, are we happy that we're playing good? Obviously, everybody loves to win, but that doesn't mean you get to take your foot off the gas anymore. You're still down in the division 4.5 games. You have to go out there, keep winning, make up ground, whether you're 500 or above 500. If you don't win the division, it's kind of all for naught. And Mauricio Dubon said, yeah, that's great, but we're not focused on that. Yeah. Exactly what you said.
And by the way, I had not read those quotes prior to what I said. And I'm not saying that I know something that these guys don't or anything like that, but I've been in these situations. Right. And I know that these guys, especially this team, with all the success that they've had, you think 500 is okay? Heck no, it's not okay.
Oh, no.
This is, they've dug themselves a deep hole. They have dug their way, I don't want to say completely out of it, but out of it pretty well, only 4.5 games back. But you still got work to do. And you can't sit on your laurels and think about what you've done. You got things to do. You got the off day tomorrow, get to chillax for a little while, but you better bring your chin strap. You better bring your mouthpiece, because the New York Mets are playing very good baseball. And like you said, they're beating the Yankees tonight. And then that will get them to 500. So
right.
Two hot teams in Major League Baseball. Well, yeah, but they're both 500.
So both teams are going to be at 500. But I mean, this is going to be a good series. Now, they do know who the 2 starters are going to be, and Valdez and Blanco. They still have not announced the 3rd game. And we talked with Chandler Rome the other night. If y'all didn't get to see that, go back and watch that, because Chandler Rome gives some good insight to Loperfido, to Dubon, and their energy, kind of talking about, what you're talking about. And I think it's big. If I could take a little side right here, I think it's big that the rookies and guys like Dubon, Dubon is that utility player that the Astros have been looking for. They couldn't find it. Marwin had his great year. Aledmys Diaz just could not stay off the injured list. And so Dubon is this guy. And, I hear they're looking for a first baseman possibly. And Dubon's been filling in at first base.
Yeah.
But the rumors are telling us that they're possibly looking at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has a year and a half left on his contract. He's getting paid $19 million this year. They would probably settle with him in arbitration if he came here the next year, maybe let him walk after that. But does this team need a Vlad Guerrero Jr. or do they need hitting? What do you think is their or do they need pitching? What do you think is their greatest need?
Well, I don't know if there is a greatest need. Now, offensively, this team has, they've been among the league leaders in several offensive categories all season, even with the struggles that they were having. The problems that they had were with runners in scoring position, which I don't want to say they fixed it because there's no such thing as fix it. They've just done a much better job as of late, like you said a few minutes ago, of manufacturing runs. Listen, if you can get a player with the caliber of Vlad Jr., who this dude is just a flat hitter. He's a power hitter. He's not a power hitter. He's a hitter with power. And what I mean by that is dude can just take the bat and put it on the ball, and sometimes it goes out of the ballpark. So that would definitely be an upgrade. Not that John Singleton has had any big issues, but you know what you're going to get. He is not a high contact guy. He's not a high average guy. He's a quality at bat guy because he can draw a walk. We know that. And if he ever hits the ball, it might go a country mile. But there's just not a whole lot of contact. So, the question is what would that deal look like? And do the Astros have enough in their minor leagues or even on their major league roster to make that move? Now, Vladdy's also going to be expensive because, you look at it and you go, okay, you have this year and next year. Well, guess what that means? That means the price goes up. Yes. Now he's not a rental. You're talking about getting a full season on top of that. So, well, let's see if Dana Brown, if he can pull something like that off. I mean, but if you held me down and you made me make a pick, I would probably say I would rather have a starting pitcher. You're probably not going to be able to get a high-end guy. But here's the problem with this across Major League Baseball. Any team that is relevant right now that is looking to make a move, which is all of them, there's nobody that's not trying to get better.
High demand.
There are very, very few sellers in this market because there's so many teams that are still relevant. They're, within, I know last week, I think there were, like 25 teams or 24 teams that were within 6 games of the wild card. That doesn't leave a whole lot of sellers. Now, some of those guys are going to be sellers, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially by the time we get to the trade deadline. But it's just one of those weird years that, there's a couple really good teams, but then there's just a whole lot of there's a whole lot of a mess in the middle of these standings that a lot of these teams are still relevant.
So there's a guy in Chicago by the name of Eric Fetty, okay? Eric Fetty's getting paid $7.5 million this year by the White Sox. He's 32. He's an unrestricted free agent at the end of 2025. So he's got 70.
So another year.
He's got 7.5 coming to him this year and next year. His record this year is 5-2 with a 3.05 ERA, 86 strikeouts, 24 walks. He's not your big name pitcher. He's not Crochet. He's not a marquee name, but with those years of control, you would think, do the Astros want to give more players to the White Sox? I mean, they've already got Corey Lee. Well, they got Maldonado. They got Corey Julks. I don't know what it would take to get a guy like that. There's also Michael Kopech you could possibly go get from the White Sox. So there are some guys that are maybe, I know Chandler said a 2 or a 3 guy in the rotation. I think more realistic as a back end rotation. There are some bats out there. Now they did sign Noah I think Omar Narvaez from the Mets to a minor league contract. And so he is in the hopper for, I guess, if they need him later, if they can improve his bat, they have him also waiting in the wings. But realistically, you've got to make a move that makes your club better, Mike. And I wonder if they're waiting on more news on Justin Verlander because they're not being very open. They're just saying he has neck soreness. We don't know if it's something else. They asked, is it connected to his arm? Is it connected to his elbow? Is it and they're like, it's just neck soreness. And so they're stopping at that. And so
they're being very, very coy about it. Here's the thing. You're still early as far as the trade deadline is concerned.
True.
We're still quite early for teams to be making big moves. And in order to make a move at this time, the price is going to be higher. I mean, this is already what I was saying before is this is a big time seller's market, and being this early on the schedule, as far as the trade deadline is concerned, that makes them even more expensive. But, we can read off names left and right. But every name that, if you and I can figure out this guy may be on the table, guess what? There's every major league organization can do exactly the same thing.
Wait, you mean we're not smarter? You mean we're not smarter than these executives and these scouts? Come on, Mike.
You may be, but I know I'm not.
It's funny. We actually had David Sampson on the show for Locked on Astros. He's the former president of the Florida Marlins. And it's funny. He calls his podcast Nothing Personal. And I think when he was let go from the Marlins, they told him it was nothing personal. I think that's why he named his podcast that, which is genius.
Makes sense.
I remember him saying it, and I was going to speak to you. I was going to ask you about this. He said an average season, a major league team needs at least, what did he say, 12 to 19 pitchers to make it through the year. Well, the Astros have already seen 28 pitchers pitch. There's two other teams, the Brewers, and I think maybe the Yankees or someone else who has seen 30, or the Dodgers. It seems like there's a lot of teams in the 20s.
Yeah.
20 something. And so we're not the only ones that are bringing up guys from AA. Thorpe came up from AA. I can't remember if he's a pitcher or not, but the Astros, if they can get to the finish line with their pitchers intact, then they have a chance, right? I mean, if you get to the playoffs, all bets are off. It's anybody's game.
Yeah. Well, once you get to the playoffs, whether you're doing it by winning the division or you're doing it through the wild card, it doesn't matter. Now it's about who can get hot. And we've seen that in the past. I mean, we've seen, wild card teams win the World Series. And it doesn't happen every year, but it's not really that uncommon. And it's about just getting hot. The Astros played the Phillies a couple years ago, and the Phillies were the last team to make it in the National League. I think they had 87 wins, something like that. But once they got in the playoffs, they got hot. And now it's about riding the wave. It's been a pandemic, an epidemic in Major League Baseball, all the pitching injuries. Yes, the Astros are not unique in any way. I think the Astros, if you looked at the numbers, the Astros have had more than their fair share, but there've been some teams out there that have actually been worse, believe it or not. And this is across the whole league. This is every team has had major pitching injuries that is affecting the club. And, it's one of the reasons why Major League Baseball, you play 162 games, is so that, you can't just get hot and win the division, that it's going to take you dealing with trials and tribulations and injuries and all that kind of stuff and lack of performance. But, over 6 months. So it's something you have to put up with. There's nothing you can do about it. Nobody's going to feel sorry for anyone, especially not the Astros. You just got to put it behind you and keep moving forward and keep trying to win baseball games. And the Astros have done a great job of that as of late.
So the Astros have a 13-game road trip after a day off, and it looks like, I believe, they're all back to back to back. So what for this staff, I think the key is the starters and going
Always.
the distance. Because, okay, when you're part of the relief staff and you know that you've got 13 games in 13 days and you've got 3 quality opponents, do you prepare any differently? Do you're just ready? I mean, every game is just another game. Or is there something you've got to consider when you're prepping for each game? Because well, gosh, if they throw me tonight, I might get in tomorrow. Are there any things that change, or do you just have to stay consistent with what works for you?
No, you're not even looking at the whole road trip.
Okay.
I mean, I can tell you there were times that we would go on road trips and I wasn't exactly sure where we were going. Wherever the bus takes us, wherever the plane takes us, that's who we're going to play.
Okay.
And your preparation is really for tonight's game. Now, I'm talking as a short reliever. Things are a little bit different now because these relief pitchers now, they don't go 3 days in a row. Heck, there were times I went 4 or 5 days in a row, but they just don't do that with relievers now. They protect them a little bit more. And I think you just prepare on a daily basis. You go back to the 1998 New York Yankees, one of the best teams to ever walk on the field, arguably the best team to ever play. Our motto for that season was play today, win today. That's it. That's how we're going to go about our business. We're not going to worry. We'll worry about tomorrow. We're just going to take care of what we have to do today. And Joe Torre even managed that way. I mean, there were times. I mean, there was a game early in the season that I was a leverage, what they call leverage reliever now. Short relief left-hander. I usually pitched an inning. I got brought into the game in like the 4th inning because and ended up pitching, I think, 2 innings or maybe 2 2/3, something like that. And it was all because of Don Zimmer. Don Zimmer was a gunslinger. Okay. Right. Joe Torre was about as conservative as you could possibly get as a manager. And that's why they were such a great match, because Don was the exact opposite. Man, Don was, he was a gambler. There was I think when he was with the Red Sox, they did two out squeeze one time.
Wow.
Just trying to catch everybody off guard. That was Don Zimmer.
I love it.
And so that was a great mesh between the two. And it was Don's idea. Hey, we need to get somebody in here to get some outs because we're going to win this baseball game. And I don't know if I won the coin toss or whatever, but they ended up bringing me in, and we ended up winning that baseball game. And that's how you approach it. The manager, he has to worry about who has off days, who's sore, whatever. If you're an active player and you're a player that has said, okay, yeah, I'm good to go tonight, either a position player or a pitcher, we're doing whatever we can to win the baseball game. There's no, well, we got to worry about tomorrow. Forget that. No,
right.
You win tonight.
So Iron Mike Tyson got his name from watching you pitch all those years, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know if that might have something to do with how hard he hits.
He's like, there's this guy. He played for the Yankees. His name was Mike Stanton. He was like Iron Fist out there. That's my best Mike. My best Mike Tyson impression I can do. This is ludicrous. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But seriously, I never knew. Wow, where did that come from? Wow,
we've gotten off the rails now.
Dude,
we're quoting Mike Tyson. Well,
quoting Mike Tyson. I mean, I'm pumping 10
10
pound
pounders,
weights.
Throwing those 10 pounders around.
Just throwing them. Yeah. Next at 6, Crunch Gym destroyed by 10-pound dumbbells. Yeah. I may have to have you come bail me out. But man, this has been a great show. Mike, it is so much more fun to talk about this team, obviously, when they're winning.
Of course.
But one of the cool things is we've got 87 people watching us right now. We've got 54 people watching us on X. I don't know how many people watching us on the other mediums, but we want to thank y'all for watching us. We want to thank y'all for tuning in. And we have our growth has just been boom. We've exploded this week with more subscribers. We need to get to 500 subscribers, and we're going to reach for 1,000. The more you watch us, the more you share our show. Seriously, get our shirt, wear our shirt. It's comfortable. You can wear it anywhere. I'm telling you, to the pool, to the beach, on a date, to church. synagogue, wherever you go. I mean,
You keep
it is.
pushing church. My goodness.
Well, I'm just, I mean, hey, casual Sunday, they used to be a thing because I grew up in a more
Put a sport
traditional
coat over it. That would look
You
okay.
could.
Put a
It
sport
would
coat
be,
over it.
yeah, it would be good. Put a tie, like a clip on, an orange tie. That would be great. But
That would,
seriously,
you could pull that off. I don't think I could. You could definitely pull that off.
you know what? Today, the way I'm feeling, dude, put me on the mound for the Houston Astros. I guarantee you I can get at least 3 outs. It may take 10 runs, but I'll get 3 outs.
He did work out today, so
I did. Like, where the gym is.
oh
man.
that way.
But seriously, that's right. It's that way, like pointing, kissing my biceps. Oh gosh, we have really gone off the rails. I cannot take this anymore. But hey, Mike, this has been great. Seriously, look, there's my mom, Judith Krebs, saying, hey, get your friends, listeners, and subscribe.
There you go.
And Garrett, one of our
Thanks
faithfuls.
Mama Judy.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we got Mr. Rashad. He's actually from Mexico City, Mike.
There you
He's
go.
an Astros fan. And
Yeah,
so
back to the bullpen. This is international, man.
This is
international.
This is. I'll ask Mark if he can ship you one to Mexico City. But seriously, for everybody here at Back to the Bullpen, and Susan, thank you for tuning in as well. Everybody that tuned in, if you're a first-time listener, drop a comment in there. Let us know what you thought of the show. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel because we love coming to you live from Back to the Bullpen, and we will have more episodes coming up. Check out our last episode with Chandler Rome. Some great information, and stay tuned to Back to the Bullpen as we watch the Astros continue to move forward. Go Stros.
Adios.
I'm looking to the bullpen to bring my lefty in. Keep the lead and make your team look pedestrian. It's in your wheelhouse, we'll swing for the fence. You know it's money around here, man, I ain't talking expense. Strike one, heater low in the way, you can't hit it. Know you wanna start a rally, but you better forget it. Strike two, off speed, same spot, your car looking. Get ready at the plate, this time you're not cooking. Strike three, swinging out of the zone. You ain't even touch it first. Tell me how they gonna drive you home. Walk it back, looking like we ain't cool then. The game's over, might as well